Hi friends, welcome to my channel. This is another odds and ends video where I share some of the smaller updates, new additions, and things we've been working on lately in our homeschool. One thing we actually just started last week is a unit that I created based on my daughter's interests. So every year I like to let her choose a few things that she wants to learn about. Usually this is something that falls into either the art or elective category. And this year she wanted to learn about how to become a YouTuber. So I put together a unit where we're covering the basics, doing some hands-on work with filming and editing, and also talking through things like online safety. We're also going to go over some of the pieces that go along with creating videos, like creating thumbnails and descriptions. So it's really walking her through the full process. We are only 1 week in. There's a total of, I think it came out to 11 lessons. And I just like that it's something that she's genuinely excited about. So I'm going to kind of do a quick little flip through of what we have, what we'll be going through, and 2 resources that we'll be using in this unit. Okay, so first I have the student worksheets that I created using Canva. And so we start with lesson 1, which goes over the types of videos that she's interested in and what is it about the videos why does she like them. Different types of videos, putting little hearts next to her favorite types of videos, and then ultimately the type of video she would want to make if she was a YouTuber. All right, for lesson 2, we'll capture 3 ideas that she can use for the video that she's going to create this unit, and then things like prompts to think about for each one. Is it fun? Can you do it at home? Will people understand it? And then her final choice. Then we'll storyboard her video. Then we're going to go over filming basics and create a practice clip. Then we'll film her video. We'll go over editing and edit her video. Creating a thumbnail and description. Creating your own YouTube channel because you have to have something to upload it on. Online safety rules. And then when the video is finished, who do you want to share it with? Because the video that she creates will be unlisted, and then we'll just share the link with family and friends, basically. And then we'll also have a watch party with our immediate family to get snacks and stuff like that, and then watch the video that she creates. And there's a page missing. Let me find it really quick. Okay, I found the missing page. So this would be lesson 3, and it would go before the storyboarding. And this is where you would write the script of the video with the beginning, middle, and end. So those are all the worksheets that my daughter will get. Then I also created teacher scripts for each lesson. And so I'm not going to go through every one, but these are just teacher scripts for each lesson. And then I just created like a little visual for me so I can be looking at what she's looking at and walk her through it. The QR codes that you see in the worksheets that I created for her, there's this program called Tango, and basically it captures the steps of what you do on your computer screen. And so I just did some tangos for her. So if she were to scan that with her phone, it's going to walk her through the steps of whatever it is that that video is about. So for example, this one, the Tango video will just walk her through the steps that she would need to create her thumbnail using Canva. In fact, if you were to pause and scan that with your phone, you would honestly see exactly what I'm talking about. So, and that's a fun free resource that we use a lot in our homeschool. Okay, and then some resources that we have to go along with that unit is making YouTube videos. So this is like the for dummies, but for kids. There's not a ton we'll use in here. I have it all in the lesson plans for the pages that we will use. The reason there's not a ton is because she does want to do video game videos. And so these are mostly like, you know, shooting people or yourself in that sort of video. Like, and then we have how to start a YouTube channel the easy way with Charlie and friends. And same thing, this is mostly going to be about like filming yourself or your friends, not so much filming gaming videos. It does, both do have sections on gaming videos, but I mean, we're not going to be buying expensive programs or anything like that. We're just going to probably use Canva to create the whole video. And so what is in here for the gaming videos isn't necessarily helpful to us, but there are things that are helpful to us, and I have them flagged and noted in our lessons. So for example, I thought this was cool when she does create her own YouTube page. Like, it shows at a glance like where your banner will be, your icon, how your description is laid out, and then just a general overview of what your page would look like. That could help when it comes to designing her own channel. So yeah, so that's what we just started. This is one of our units that we added to the end of our school year. If you've watched any of my other videos, I mentioned how usually starting in May, I like to make the lessons just a lot more fun and a lot more interest-led. And so that's what we're doing right now. And looking ahead to summer, I want to talk about a couple things that I picked up. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to do this summer is this Soul Sparklettes literature bundle, but they emphasize the art, which is cute, for the book Impossible Creatures. Now, we actually have the hard copy of this book. We got it actually on one of our field trips when we were doing the, when we were visiting the missions. We always like to go to the bookstores in the places that we visit. And so in the bookstore, this book captured her attention. And so we got this book, and then I came across this study and I was like, oh, this would be something that's really fun to do during the summer. We also got the card for it for the Yodo. And so one of the things we're going to start doing next year is using the Yodo. We just actually switched from the Tony to the Yodo. This is just my opinion. To me, it feels like the Tony is for a younger crowd and the Yodo is maybe for a little bit older crowd. And so we gave her Tony to our youngest nephew and then upgraded to the Yodo and plan on using it more in homeschooling next year. Okay, so if you're not familiar, this is from the Glitter Bombs. Now, we don't have a subscription to them. We tried to get in and they're full right now, so we're like on a waiting list for their curriculum that they put out, which I think is like their subscription boxes. I'm not fully sure. But you can still buy like independent or individual bundles on their website. And so when I saw this one and we had just gotten the book and I had just gotten the Yodo card, I was like, this is absolutely perfect. And so you can see right here, these are like some of the art pieces that you'll be doing in the program. And so there's also things like, it says math, which I don't know. I don't think we're going to be doing the math. Maybe we will. So there's no summer slide. I'm not really sure. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for sure, we're going to be doing the art pieces out of here. That's like the main goal. Okay, I also grabbed a zoo field trip journal from Funschooling, which we'll be using for some of our outings. So I like having something like this to add a little bit of purpose without making it feel like a lesson. We can just go to the zoo and do a little journaling about what we see and call it a day. Not making it completely educational, but still just adding the little pieces of education in there and keeping her writing, because the more I keep her writing, the less reluctant she'll be. Because if she goes all summer without writing, when school starts again, it's an absolute nightmare. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, so now I'm going to cover some additions for next year. I just got a couple things that have come in the mail. We got the activity book to go with the main spine that I shared on our last odds and ends video. So this will be covered with our human anatomy unit next year. And then we got another spooky book for our, when we cover the 50 states next year. During spooky season, we'll be adding in now 2 spooky books that go along with the different states. So you got the state called out and then some spooky places. So excited for that. Well, that's all I had for this odds and ends video. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And until the next video, bye.